Of a plot to assassinate former President Trump, a plot with no known connection to Saturday's assassination attempt, I should mention. That's obviously very noteworthy. Let's bring in senior justice correspondent Evan Perez for the details on this. Evan, what do you know?
Well, Brianna, in recent weeks, the U.S. government received intelligence from a human source that indicated that the Iranians were plotting to try to kill former President Donald Trump. Now, that led immediately to an increase in the protection for the former president. We heard over the weekend from the Secret Service that in recent weeks they had increased their protection for the former president. And so the question was exactly why. We now know that this is the reason why. It was specific intelligence that was deemed to be credible enough, and that's the reason why they increased the protection for the former president. It's very important to point out that there is nothing to indicate at this point, in part of this investigation of the events on Saturday, that the shooter, the would-be assassin that tried to assassinate the former president on Saturday, there's no indication that it had anything to do with this Iranian plot. It appears to be a coincidence, obviously, but it is one of those things that is raising new questions, I think, for the Secret Service and for everybody involved in the protection of Donald Trump, how it was that these events took place as they did on Saturday. How did someone, this 20-year-old person, get onto that roof?
This was not connected to what happened on Saturday, but what happened on Saturday was sort of seen as something, obviously, a lone gunman, right. Something that was a little more ad hoc. We've learned now that it was almost 2 minutes that people saw this man on the roof before he took a shot. Right. And that raises a lot of questions about how security was responding there. But just knowing that an ad hoc situation was able to almost succeed raises questions about what a state actor might be able to achieve. And knowing what we now know about this Iran plot, what kind of notes they or another entity that is an enemy of the U.S., what kind of notes they might be taking.
Right, exactly. And the issue is, obviously, the threat from Iran has been a known factor, right? There's been warnings about Iran and the fact that they do want to strike back against the United States. Obviously, the 2020 assassination of Qasem Soleimani in Iraq, the top general there in Iran, has prompted increasing concerns about specific officials inside the U.S. government who could be targeted, including the former president, but also Mike Pompeo, John Bolton. We've all seen these people being, protected to a greater extent than you might see former officials usually protected. So we've seen all of that visibly.